Hey everybody, welcome back. You know what it is, Leopazzo, that's the channel. Just wanted to say thank you very much for all the new subscribers that I've been getting lately. I'd appreciate it. Today's video is going to be of a 40-gallon frag tank. I just wanted to take you guys through this from start to finish. So stay tuned and I'll show you what it's all about. So here we have is the frag tank, 48 inches long, approximately 12 by 12. Here's the sump, approximately 30 inches long, and we got 3 chambers. First chamber is going to be with the bio balls and live rock. I'm going to put some filter floss on the top of that, on top of the egg crate. Second chamber there is the skimmer going to be, and the last chamber is going to be the return pump. So here's the frag tank. Here's the 1.5-inch bulkhead that I'm going to use for a drain. Fits in snug right there. Here's the 1-inch bulkhead that I'm going to use for as a drain as well. I'm going to use both of those guys as drains. Okay, now let's look at the material that we're going to use for my pump, from my sump tank all the way up to the frag tank. We have a spare submergible pump right here. We have a plastic fitting that fits over the top of the tank for the return, and we got a hose. Okay, so let's get started on the stand. So what I picked up here is a 2x12 by 12 spruce wood, and what I'm going to do is just cut it to the length of the stand right now, and I'll take you through on how I built this. Okay, now that I have the 2x12 cut, I need to make a couple of marks here where I'm going to make the notches for these bulkheads. So here's the 1-inch bulkhead that I got to make the notch for, and the 1.5-inch bulkhead that I got to make the notch for. Okay, so we got the 2 notches right now. We got them cut out, placed in the bulkheads, and let's try to briefly just line it up here. So this is the bottom part of the stand where the tank's gonna rest on. And this piece right here that I'm gonna put up against it is where I'm gonna mount it onto the wall. So let's stand back and see if you get the bigger picture and see how it looks. So right now what we're missing is we're gonna need a couple of supports here to help it, the strength to take the weight of the tank. So let's get working on those. Let's just mark these guys out here. So for the supports, what I'm going to do out of the leftover 2x12 is basically just cut 2 pieces on the 45, and those are going to act as my supports there for the stand to take the weight. So now that I got the 2 supports cut, you should see that they're just going to fit in there nice and snug. So I'm going to put one on the left and one on the right there, and now that I got those in place, I'm ready to screw my stand together and make it nice and sturdy with 3 1/4-inch screws. I find that screws work best. So here we have the finished product of the stand. You can take a look here and see the way it's built. This is where the top's going to be, where the tank's going to rest on, with the bulkheads notched out. And then there's the supports there on the bottom. Okay, now that we got the stand all finished, let's mount it onto the wall where it's going to be into the location. But before we do anything else, let's take a quick peek of my 60-gallon. And also my 125-gallon. Okay, so here we are. We got the tank placed on top of the stand, seeing the way it fits, tested it out. The bulkheads fit properly. There you go, the 1-inch return or drain, and here's the 1.5-inch drain. Okay, now that we know that the tank fits properly on the stand, let's go ahead and cut ourselves a piece of styrofoam that can fit underneath our tank. So now that we got the styrofoam cut, we're going to place it underneath the tank just to absorb any of the impurities there that we have in the stand. Okay, so let's get started on the plumbing. Here's the 1.5 inch drain that I was talking about. I'm just running straight down through the bulkhead, slip-in bulkhead down into the sump there. And then here we have the 1 inch, same idea on the left side of the tank, coming down with a valve there, and then going over to the drain section of our sump. Now for the return pump section, here it is. They're connected via this hose that goes all the way up to the top of the frag tank, over the top, connected to this fitting here. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole, and what this hole is for, so when the power goes off, it breaks the siphon. Okay, so you can see here I'm just installing the bracket for my light that I'm going to be running later on for the future. And I just filled up the sump currently with some water, and I'm going to plug in the pump and test this all out. So let's plug in the pump and see how it works. So right now the pump, you can see that it's pushing the water from the sump all the way up to the frag tank, and it's coming out of the two holes. Again, the top one being the siphon breaker for the return pump when the power shuts off. So now that that's all done, let's just wait for the tank to fill up. You can see the T5 light now is installed, just running two T5s, 48 inch, 54 watts each. Got some bio balls prepped up for the sump there, filter floss in there, just so here we go. We got the tank filled up with water. It looks like it's draining now into the sump. Here's the return chamber of the pump. There's the on mark that I chose that I want the water level to be. So now what we want to do is unplug the pump in case there's a power outage, and we want to do the test to see where the water level is going to stop in our frag tank. Just make sure that our sump can hold the volume of water that drains. So you can see right there the hole that I drilled, that's where the water level should stop. And now let's look at our sump in the return chamber section, and let's make a mark on the off. So now we know when the power is off, this is where the water level should be. And then when the power is on and the system is running, we have an on level mark where we should be. So when you add an auto top off, that's where the level line should be. And you can see where it stopped to drain there as well, at the drain, and as well at that 1/4 inch hole that I made there for the breaker. Okay, so let's plug this pump back in and let's get some salt mixed into the system. So here we got some regular salt from the local fish store that I'm going to toss in here. We got approximately like a 50-gallon tank. So we're going to, I'm not sure how many cups of salt I'm going to need, but for now I'm just going to add it slowly and test slowly. That's the key, is to bring it up slowly. There's no point of adding too much salt. So now that I have the system up and running and I have the salt levels to where I want them to be, I'm going to add my Vertex IN180 skimmer to the sump. I'd actually designed this sump to the specs of the skimmer that I needed. So what I'm going to do here is let the skimmer run now for a few weeks, and slowly I'm going to add in some live rock and some corals. Okay, so here you go, bang, it's a month later from when I built the tank. The system's up and running now, and I dropped some live rock with some coral on it. I found a few pieces of live rock from a local reefer in the area that had some live rock with some mushrooms and corals and leathers. so I decided to pick it up. Some very nice coralline algae on it. So thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to say thank you very much. Please like, share, comment in the video. Let me know what you guys think. Any suggestions, comments. I would like to say thank you once again for all the subscribers. Okay, thanks guys, and subscribe to Leopazzo. You know what it is. That's the channel.